Good morning, everybody. I hope you're all having a good day so far. So, I thought today that I could talk to you about tea leaf reading. It's not something that I do a lot, but it's something that I've been interested in forever. Um, like all this other stuff. I've just always been fascinated by it. And I think it's not even so much what the type of divination is, it's just divination that I've always been interested in. Like, I do the tarot cards, I do the palm reading. I've done runes, but I'm not so confident with them. I need to do a little bit more practice with them. And then tea leaf reading. So, tea leaf reading is super fun, and it doesn't even have to be with tea. You could do it with coffee. My son one time had this beautiful. I'll put the picture for the little thumbnail. I'll put a picture of something that he found at the bottom of his hot chocolate one time, and it was beautiful. It was like a painting, and so um, when you are doing tea leaf reading, it can be it can be very strict in the way you do it, or it can just be. It should be, I think, more about conversation. So you're having a tea with somebody and you're talking and you're enjoying the time and your energy, or the person that's getting drinking the tea is putting their energy into it. And then I don't personally like heavy leafy tea. I don't enjoy drinking that, so if I am going to do it, like, I have to really be wanting to do it because I know I'm going to have to drink some pretty nasty tea to do it. And I'm sure some of it's great, and a lot of people like that kind of tea, but I just find that the taste is a little too strong for me. But even if you were to do it with coffee grinds, and the whole point is, when you're looking at what's left in the cup, is what do you see? And I am a huge believer in listening to your intuition. So you could read a book that says if you see a mound, it looks like this. If it looks like this, it means, if it looks like a boat, it means you're going on a trip. Or if it looks like a dog, it means that there's someone coming in your life, or something like that. But I don't know about that because, again, it could be different for whatever situation you're in. And who made up that definition, right? Who's to say that if it looks like a hill, it has to mean you're going to be climbing the corporate ladder or something? I don't know, but I just think if you listen to your intuition and you look at what's in there and just feel it, because I think that's a lot stronger. And maybe for somebody, if they see a dog, it means something different. Maybe it means loyalty. Maybe it means friendship or companionship. Maybe it means fear. Maybe somebody's terrified of dogs. Maybe that for them means that they're going to be encountering something that's going to be scary for them. So I think that's why I really like reading books, and I really like um, I like what people put into their books when they're making these kind of books, but I kind of take them with a little bit of a grain of salt, because I don't feel like there's anything that's a hard and fast. It is always this way. And I think if you are practicing listening to your intuition, I think you'll have an easier time with it. And I've, like I've said, I used to feel so blocked when I would try to do things because I would be trying to memorize what was in the little book that came with the tarot cards, or what somebody else said, oh, this is what that card means. And it would make me feel stuck, and I would feel frustrated because I would be feeling something different. And then I would think, but it doesn't, I don't feel what that's saying. So once I started listening to my intuition, it started flowing. Oh, there we go. My microphone just paused. I hope that's going through. But once I started listening to my intuition, then things were flowing more because I wasn't held up in my own head. And we all know when you're trying to sleep and you've got lots of things on your mind that you are very stuck in your own head. And, your mind does not want to let you sleep because you're thinking about something that happened 15 years ago or, a snide remark from somebody. And your brain just kind of holds on to those things. So when we learn to let that stuff go, then messages can come through easier. It's the same as when I'm giving when I'm getting messages from spirit. It's the same thing. If I'm holding on to the thought that no, this is not a message from spirit, then it's going to shut down because my ego is getting in the way. So when I am doing a reading and I'm getting messages, whether they be like a picture or I'm hearing it or I'm just knowing it, I have to really just trust it. And when it comes in, just say it. Because if you spend the time going, okay, well, for example, with the tea leaf, if you spend the time going, well, I think it looks like a blade of grass, but I don't know what a blade of grass means. So I think maybe grass, and then instead of just going with what you first feel. So when you see it and you feel it, what is it? So I feel like if you say it quickly and you just, okay, I see this and it means this. It's almost like that game you play where you say, okay, word association. Okay, I say cat, you say dog. If I say, I don't know, if you say boat, I say fish or whatever, whatever those words are and however you want to take them. But when you are overthinking things, it doesn't usually make it better. And that's the problem. We think that by overthinking, we'll make it easier or better for ourselves. And it just gets all complicated in there. And I think when you trust yourself, you trust your intuition, you trust the messages that are coming. And a wonderful person has taught me that you can ask for the highest and best messages to come through. So then you're not getting messages from people who are not very nice that are trying to send messages or things like that. So I think when we can just let go of what we think we should be doing or what we think we should be listening to, then you'll have a better time with your reading. So, I mean, you can try just if you're having a coffee this morning and well, I don't have a coffee maker, so I just use instant coffee because, well, anyways, it's a long story, but I just use instant coffee. Or if you just have Tetley tea at home and you have a strainer, just open your tea bag and put your strainer in there and then put it in your cup. And then, well, I guess if you use the strainer, you're kind of defying the purpose. Okay, so just open your tea bag, put the tea leaves loose in your tea, and then just drink it like that. And yes, it is, I don't like the feeling of the leaves touching my lips, but stir it around a little bit. Drink the majority of it so that there's not so much liquid left in the cup. And then you're going to have a little plate and you're going to flip over your cup and then you're going to turn it clockwise. I think it's clockwise. I don't know that it really matters. I think just turn it, the act of turning it 3 times and then flip it over and have a look at what you see. And what do you think? What do you feel? What do you notice about it? Are there certain areas that are more clumped? Are there certain things that are closer to you? Are there things that are farther away? Are there, I know that there's a way that they say if it's, depending on where it is in the cup, like closer to the handle. But I don't want you to get weighed down on that. Just look at what you see and what do you feel? And then if you want to write it down just so you remember, You can write it down. And that's one thing I do when I give messages is I write it down, because I find the messages come through that if I try to, well, because it's not coming from me, if I try to remember it, I don't have a memory of it because it's not coming from me. It's not coming from inside my head. So I have to write it down. And I find when I'm writing it down, it comes out so much quicker than if I'm trying to stumble through it and just say it. So if you're seeing something, jot it down. Okay, this looks like a bunny, or this looks like, and then what does that mean to me? What do I think about that? Just practice, have fun with it. And then, whenever we can have our friends over again, I know we're getting a little bit of freedom. We can have a couple more family members or people in our bubble over. Once you can do that, then you could try it with a friend too. It's not like this thing that only some people can do. We can all do it. You just have to practice it, just like you have to practice learning to drive a car. And I have a pet peeve about when people say practice makes perfect, because I don't believe that anybody is perfect. And I think I always tell my own children and my school kids that practice makes progress. And I give the example of, look at Olympic athletes. They are the best of the best. They train forever and ever. And sometimes they get up there and it doesn't go the way that they had hoped. They make a mistake or something happens. And that just goes to prove that they practice, and it does not make them perfect. And I think that it's a high standard to put on ourselves, to think of something being perfect. So practice makes progress, and just keep practicing. And the more you practice at trusting yourself, the better you'll get. So practice makes progress. And have fun with it. Like, just give it a shot. See what happens. I mean, what's the worst that's going to happen? You're going to spill a little tea on your plate, and you might have to drink a few pieces of loose leaf tea, which I'm telling you, it does not, I don't like that taste. I don't like that feeling of the loose leaf going into my teeth and and everything. So, but other than that, it's a lot of fun. And like I said, I'll put that little picture that my son Ronan got from his hot chocolate, and it was just an amazing, I actually want to frame it because it's beautiful. And I think it gives us a little bit of fun in our day. It gives us a little bit of light, and the more you do it, the more you can get out of it, the more you can learn from it. And when you're reading somebody's tea leaves, and maybe you'll see, hey, like, I see that something fun is coming your way, or any of those sort of things. And I think that's part of it. Like, I'm not a doom person. I'm not somebody who would say, oh, I see in your cup, there's going to be chaos and whatever. I think my thing is, we all have a fate. We all have a destiny, I believe, but we all have free will. So how we get there is up to us, and we make our choices. So I don't think that, like, even if I say I saw in a teacup a big bus, oh, you're going to get hit by a bus on Tuesday. Okay, well, you just wouldn't leave your house on Tuesday. Like, the bus is not going to come get you, So I think it's a little bit, I don't like people giving messages that are negative and worrisome, because that's what that poor person now is going to focus on that all day long. And my mother was told by a psychic that she was going to die when she was 72. And she spent her entire 71 to 72 year depressed because she was so worried that she was going to die. And I thought, how irresponsible of that person to do that to her, because she was so worried. She didn't want to do anything. And she ended up living to be 76. And when she turned 73, it was like she had this weight lifted off of her. But if that person had not told her that, she would have had a much better experience. And I would never, I don't think that I would ever see something like that, but I would never say something like that, because that's very irresponsible, I believe. Anyways, I have been chatting your ear off this morning, so I hope you all have a great day, and uh, and have some fun today. And take care, everybody. Talk to you later.